These are hard to find, and I already did a bunch of them, but here we go. Hi loves, it's Lacey and welcome back to our space. So today in our space, we are doing another pumpkin wreath form. And I'm only going to be using one of these. I have several, but I was saving it to make a project with some other YouTubers, though that doesn't look like it's going to happen. So let's go ahead and do this one, and then if I have another one to do, I'll bring it to you later. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are actually going to reshape this pumpkin. It is too wide for me and I need it to be narrower, and it can be a little bit taller for what I want to use it for. So in order to do that, let's first remove the tag. I will show you guys the tag because so many people keep asking for it. You cannot order these online anymore, and I have a shadow. They are out of stock on the website, but here's the tag just in case. So what we're going to do is we're going to reshape this. I need it to be narrower, so I'm just going to pull it here, pull it on the side, and then push the sides in. It's wire, it'll move, it'll bend. So here it is. It is now skinnier and taller. All I did was stretch it, as you guys saw. Be careful because I did knock one of these loose. This one right here, I did glue it back just by pulling and tugging on it. One of them wasn't anchored down real well. So here is the original one. It is bigger. It is wider, actually. It's not bigger. It's wider and it's shorter. The best way to show you that is to put this one over. And you can see, look at, I have a big gap over here, just how I set it on here. Like if I set it over more, I have a gap on this side, I have a gap on that side. And if I push this up, this one's a lot taller. So this is what we want. We want the better shaped one that's narrower for this project. You don't have to do this. If you don't mind it being wider, then okay. So I got this cable knit sweater at the thrift store. I already cut it to see if this would work, and it will. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to lay it down and place my pumpkin on it. And I want to use quite a bit of the sweater, so I'm going to make sure I push it up to as far as I can get it. And I'm going to cut it out to the back of the pumpkin. And then I'm going to want to cut out another section, which we're going to use this bottom section here for a different part. So let's do that. Let's just cut this off to start with to make it easier, and then we will cut out the back of the pumpkin. Okay, next I'm going to glue this down to the back of the sweater. And I'm going to do it this direction and not turn it over because I want to keep an eye on how the cable knit actually sits. Now we're going to let that dry and make sure that it's on there really well. And then we're going to flip it over and do it the other way. And we're going to do it carefully because we do care what most of this looks like. Okay, now for the sides, because the bottom is glued on top because we don't really care. We weren't going to worry about it. But for the sides and the top, we are going to glue the top of the sweater over the bottom and around, okay? Like this. So what you're gonna do is put it like this and put glue on. I started this, but my camera wasn't filming, so I want to make sure you guys understand this. And then loop it from the underside over. This one's glued over this way. You're going to pull the sweater underneath this bar so you can see it and loop it over. And be really careful because it's hot. I have nails. I'm used to this. I have asbestos hands. So my last DIY, I did burn my finger, but it had chicken wire. You can use your scissors, as you see I'm using. And then it looks like that along the edge. The bottom we didn't care about, the top we care about. I didn't do this yet because I want to make sure I could pull this as far as I needed to pull it. And we're going to do that all the way around. Now when you get to one of the wires that's going to be in your way, I simply just kind of went around it, but if it doesn't let you, because your sweater's stiffer or something, then you're going to need to put a little cut in there. Alright, so this is what you're going to have, and yes, the top looks wonky. Not perfect. You don't have to be perfect up there, just like the sides and the bottom here are not perfect. So now we're going to take this piece that we had left over, that we saved, and I like that it has a clean edge so it lets me see better. We're going to be covering up the edge, so don't worry about that if yours does not have a clean edge like that. And we're going to be placing it across like this. And I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm not going to pin it. I'm not going to mark it with anything. I'm just going to eyeball it. You guys can pin it or whatever, but I'm just going to sit it here and say, yep, I want it about yay high. Not halfway up, a little less than halfway up, because we also are going to be putting something else across here with it, and I think it will work out fine just putting it about a third of the way up, maybe a little bit more. Okay, and here's what that looks like. So here that is. It's all done. It's not tacked down in the front at all. So I'm going to leave that until we do a couple more steps. That way I can make sure that it sits where it's supposed to sit. So that's done. Next, I have this shutter. If you saw my Dollar Tree and Target haul that I did not too long ago, I picked up several of these from Target's Bullseye Playground. They are regularly $5. It has a hook on the top to hang it, and we will be hanging this. Now, initially I was just going to hang this and then hang the pumpkin in front of it, but now I've changed my mind and I am going to actually glue the pumpkin to the shutter. So I want to line up the ribbon on the pumpkin to make sure that it's going to look like it hangs evenly on the shutter. next I'm going to take some of this jute twine that I have, and I'm going to go ahead and cover the handle to make it look more like a pumpkin stem. Okay, so how I did this, very simple. It's like tying your shoes. You're going to take and you're going to loop this up through the bottom, and you're going to go over one and then under one, and loop it up from the bottom here, and then go over the other section, then under, and loop back up and go over again. Okay, this is what that looks like. I simply went over and under and over and under, so it crisscrossed in the middle. You really can't even tell that, but it kept it on there nice and tight. And then I did loops all the way around, in and out around the top part, and just finished it off in the last loop. So now this is what we have. All of these are glued down. All of this is ready to go. Here is my final project, and you guys already know what I'm gonna say. I'm in love with it. I think it turned out so stinking cute. So first of all, let me tell you this. The bear, the sunflower, and all of the pics that are on this are just simply sitting on it. None of it is glued down. The sunflower is on a stem, and I just stuck it down in there, and all of the pics are either stuck behind the sunflower just sitting there, or stuck into where the stem is and behind it, and they're just sitting there. They're not glued down. The little bear is sitting on some floral foam that is covered with the excess sweater that I had left over from making this pumpkin. That's why the sunflower and the pic on the side that the sunflower is sitting there nicely, because they're just stuck into the fabric. I have no plans on gluing it down. No one's gonna mess with this, and so just as long as it sits there like that, I'm not gonna worry about it. The bear won't slide or anything because one of his arms is behind the little wire to the pumpkin, and so that's no big deal. Now the sweater weather sign, I hot glued down to where the wire is. I know I was missing that footage because my camera shut off and I didn't see it, but I did show you guys that, you know, I used a hot glue gun with it. Then the ribbon that goes all the way across and the pumpkin form are glued to the shutter, just where the ribbon connects to the shutter, if that makes sense. I didn't glue any of the sweater down because if I want to take this off, that will probably fray and pull, and I want to use the shutter for something else or use the pumpkin in a different area. So I only glued it down where the ribbon hits the back. And then I took a piece of twine and I tied it around where the stem is, made a knot, and pushed it through the shutter and tied it to the back brace. It's not hard to do. If you have this and you want to try it, you will get it. You tie around the stem of the pumpkin, tie a knot, and then take those two strings and pull them under and through the shutter, and then there's a brace in the back and you just tie a knot there, and you could glue it down if you wanted to, but it's pretty steady because it's not heavy at all. So I have a pumpkin wreath form from Dollar Tree, and the sign front came from Dollar Tree, and so did the twine and the floral foam that the bear is sitting on. The little bear that I have is the perfect choice for this, and I have to tell you, I was not initially going to use him. I had a squirrel figurine that was going to go in here with some acorns and some different flowers. However, I couldn't find him, and I ended up stumbling across my bear, who I got in a eBay mystery box like 2 years ago. And he just so happened to be wearing the perfect color sweater, and I absolutely love the little heart that's on his chest, and I already knew I was going to do sweater weather on the sign, so it worked out great. The shutter, like you guys saw, came from Target in their Bullseye Playground for $5, and putting this all together was a lot of fun, and even though it didn't come together like I thought it was, I even like this better than my initial idea. So that is it for this DIY. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, for liking, and always sharing my videos. And if you are not a member here at Lacee Space, I don't know why not. Go ahead, smash that subscribe button, hang out with us for a while. We have a lot of fun here. Also, if you like, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Lacee Space, the same way that it's spelled here, and I will catch all of you in my next video. Bye, loves.